in those moments of survival, I put survival in quotes because, again, a lot of times it's not really an actual moment of survival, but our body, our mind, and our emotions react as if it is. But when we're in those moments, whatever we deem in that moment of survival, we are focused on that short-term gain. We are focused on what we're getting short-term, but this passage is really bringing forth the truth that those short-term gains lead to long-term suffering. Hello, divine souls. Welcome to Mystic Temple Spirituality for a New Age. I'm Monica Bay, also known as the Divine Mother, and I am here to bring you truth. Okay, and I'm very fly today. I like to fly around. So for today's Divinity Session, we are at Divinity Session number 30 already. This is crazy, but lovely, a lovely kind of crazy. So I'm really excited. Oh, as always, about everything that we have going on. I just wanted to announce also that we are starting to get boots on the ground. The phase number 3 of the Global Awakening Initiative is underway. We just had our first live event in Tulum, Mexico, building community there, spreading the Book of Rashida, and spreading love and light and truth. And we have our light guardian Tamiko there, who is Goddess Tamiko, who is building that community there. And coming up next month in September and in October, we have live events happening in person in Detroit, Michigan. We have live events happening in Virginia Beach. We have live events happening in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So again, we are really, really starting to spread the word, getting the word out there, getting truth and life out there, and really starting to build communities. We will also be doing a lot of community outreach over the next coming months. So stay tuned to all of that, and there will be opportunities for you to jump in and and help out and really start to do your part to start to spread this truth and love and light into this world. Okay, and that leads me to today, the Divinity Session number 30, and we are going to dive right into the Book of Rashida, the passage for today, and it is as follows. Upon all you survive, and with all you betray that which is born within you, ignoring and denying the very essence of you. So, of course, as always, there's layers and layers and layers of meaning. We're going deep down the rabbit hole today, okay? So, what this passage is talking about, upon all you survive and upon all you betray. So, this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to dive really, really deep into this. They're referring to the paradox that exists within our human experience of survival and betrayal of ourselves. A lot of times when we feel that we need to survive in a situation, we make compromises with our own values. We make compromises with our own spirit and our inner guidance. And then we betray the true essence of ourselves. That's really what this passage is talking about. And we're going to dive deeper and deeper into that because there's so many layers of meaning here and so many depths of understanding that you need to have with this passage. So I'm going to just take the first part of that sentence, which is upon all you survive. So how do we survive? We are brilliant, amazing beings who have unlimited power, and you guys all know this. You have unlimited power. This is what we've been teaching, and yes, we do survive. We all upon all we survive. Everything that we go through, everything that we go through in life, we are survivors, and we are wired as human beings to survive. That's why we have survival instincts and all of these things. But in that survival, right, sometimes we have to compromise ourselves, or we feel we have to compromise ourselves. We don't always have to compromise ourselves, but sometimes in these environments that we're in, which are not truly survival environments, by the way, a lot of times in your career and things like that, we think something is a matter of life and death. This is, and we're striving to survive in that circumstance. And a lot of times, using the career as an example, a lot of times when we are in career situations or with our businesses or at jobs that we work for, we end up compromising ourselves in order to survive in that environment, in order to keep that job, in order to in order to continue to excel. And so this is the conundrum of the human experience of the society, especially that we've built, is that we end up betraying ourselves, and with that betrayal leads more suffering. And so when we are compromising ourselves, I need you guys to really understand this. When you are compromising yourself in order to get ahead, in order to survive in whatever aspect you're thinking about or you're going through, when you start to compromise yourself, your values, your inner spirit, your guidance, right? We start to ignore those things and we start to compromise that in order to survive. We end up betraying ourselves, betraying our soul, betraying what it is that is leading us down our path. When we start to focus more on short-term gains, right? That is a lot of times in our moments of survival, we're thinking of short-term gains. We're like, okay, how do I just get to this next step without realizing the long-term negative effects that come with compromising who you are, compromising your values, compromising your principles, compromising your beliefs, and pretending to be something that you're not, conforming to society in order to survive. As human beings, we are communal creatures. We survive in groups. Okay, that's pretty much always been the case. Even when we were hunters and gatherers, we were in groups, right? This is natural to our human existence, is to be in groups. And in that survival mode of being in groups, it's important that people like you, that you don't get left behind and things like that. So we end up, it's in our DNA to begin to conform in order to survive. But again, we have not been upgraded. I always say since 10,000 BC. That's a joke because I don't know obviously when we were last upgraded, but we have not been upgraded for thousands and thousands of years. We'll put it that way. And our bodies and our minds, our psychology is still wired as if we are hunters and gatherers running from lions and tigers and bears. Okay. We need an upgrade, but we don't have one yet. So the fact that we are still wired that way, it's important that you understand this. And that's why the Book of Rashida is bringing this out, and the Cosmic Collective Consciousness is bringing this out right now in this passage, is to make sure you really understand how this stuff actually works. And we have to be more mindful, and we have to actually take a concerted effort in order to not succumb to these sacrifices and the betrayal of ourselves. When we're talking about betrayal of ourselves, it's talking about the betrayal of your soul and of your path and who you actually are. You're the very essence of you. They're referring to the divinity that is inside of you. Sometimes in order to conform, we push aside our gifts. Sometimes in order to conform, we push aside our outward expression, whatever that is for you, your self-expression. Sometimes we subdue that in order to conform, in order to survive in a particular environment or within a particular group or a particular phase of our life. We even betray our own emotions by pushing them to the side. So you see how this passage is really layered with a lot of meanings and is applicable to pretty much every area of your life. So this passage is really driving home the paradox between internal survival mode and external authenticity, external expression, external alignment. Now, when we're talking about alignment, what are we in alignment with? We're in alignment with our path. We're in alignment with who we truly are, the very essence of us, as the passage says, which is our divinity, which is the light inside that came here inside this human body to get things done, okay? And through the life that we go through the suffering, and we know what causes suffering. We've been through that in multiple divinity sessions. And we know that suffering is a choice, right? And our choices in those moments of survival, I put survival in quotes because, again, a lot of times it's not really an actual moment of survival, but our body, our mind, and our emotions react as if it is. But when we're in those moments, whatever we deem in that moment of survival, we are focused on that short-term gain. We are focused on what we're getting short-term, but this passage is really bringing forth the truth that those short-term gains lead to long-term suffering. When you deny a part of yourself, when you deny your the very essence of you, when you deny your spirit, when you deny your soul, you deny your path, you deny your gifts, these things lead to suffering later on down the road as you've done it. The longer you do this, the more you suffer. And it's an internal suffering, and a lot of times it's psychological and subconscious, and you're not even aware that you're suffering until it's too late, until you're like, oh my God, I'm breaking down every day, and my body's breaking down to me, because these things, when you're bottling up your essence inside of you and not allowing it to be expressed, not allowing yourself to be who you truly are, and going against your own principles, going against the things that you know to be true, going against yourself. Again, this is a self-betrayal. When you're doing these things over time, this energy, this negative energy builds up inside of you. It can start affecting your physical health. It can start affecting your emotional health. It can start affecting your spiritual health for sure. And as these things start to happen, you find yourself feeling off, feeling out of sorts, feeling lost in life and things like that. And this is why it's important. Again, we talk about mindfulness a lot because it's important to be mindful and be aware of what's actually going on inside of you. When you're aware of these things, you'll know, oh, that was self-denial, that was self-sabotage, that was, all these things that it's not supposed to be, right? Because there are things that you can do to make sure that you are making the right choices that will then lead to the reality that you want. Because remember, our choices shape our reality now and into the future. So the things that you're choosing to sacrifice for yourself, the things that you're choosing to sacrifice for the sake of survival. So with self-awareness, you start to really understand what's actually going on inside of you. And with this self-awareness, you can start asking yourself these questions and see what's actually happening, because the long-term costs of not doing so, the long-term costs of not doing so are spiritual disassociation, are disconnectedness with your true essence, with who you really are, living a life that is not authentic to who you actually are, living an outward expression that is not authentic to who you are. And we make compromises after compromises after compromise. Next thing you know, 10 years later, 5 years later, whatever, you're a person you don't even recognize anymore. And it's not who you actually are because you've made so many sacrifices. Pay attention to these long-term costs of the sacrifices that you are making, the compromises that you are making within yourself in order to survive in this external world. You're making internal sacrifices in order to save yourself in this external world. And the two don't necessarily need to coexist. You can be safe and secure in your external world without making immense and really, really heavy sacrifices internally, denying who you are, denying yourself, betraying yourself. And when they're saying that which is born within you, they're again referring to that essence of you, that those spiritual gifts, the things that make you you, your special sauce. You're not supposed to be like everyone else. You're supposed to be exactly who you are, and you need to be able to show that proudly and boldly and unapologetically. Okay, and I understand that sometimes we are in situations where we feel like, okay, we need this in order to survive. So some of us become chameleons in order to get into that situation. But you need to start asking yourself, is this worth it? What are the long-term effects of me doing this right now? And is there another way? Because I guarantee you there's always another way. There's always another way. It may require some more creativity. It may require you to think outside of the box a little bit, but it's possible. There is always a way to get what you need in this physical plane without having to sacrifice yourself spiritually, without having to sacrifice yourself internally and eternally. Because let me tell you something, aligning your actions with your spiritual essence, with your path, with your energy signature, with your values, the things that are actually important to you, aligning your actions with those things leads to spiritual fulfillment. It leads to actual fulfillment in this life. Because when you are suppressing those things, when you are not being true and in alignment with who you actually are, your soul and your spirit knows it and it feels it. And there is this inner frustration. It is a powder keg. It is a force waiting to get out, feeling caged. And I know some of you at home have felt that and may be feeling that right now. Caged, disassociated, disconnected. And this is because you are not being true to yourself. It is such an act of liberation to be authentic. It is such a beautiful, beautiful act of liberation. So, are you liberating yourself or are you caging yourself? Do you have chains or are you free to fly with this? Are you free to fly? Which one are you doing to yourself? And in every moment of every day, you'll notice if you're paying attention, how many times you sacrifice yourself, how many times you betray yourself in social situations, in online, in social media, in real life situations with others, at work, in your job, in your career, and in your family. How many times are you betraying yourself in those moments? Pay attention to that. and start to make a difference, start to make a change. It only takes small steps, and those small steps get bigger, and those bigger steps get bigger. And then next thing you know, you are unapologetically you. You are free and liberated, and your spirit is able to soar. So, how do you make sure that you're doing this? Well, one, you need to have some spiritual practices that actually foster authenticity. You need to focus on being authentic in every moment of every day. When you're able to, when we understand, and I understand, the cosmic collective consciousness understands that sometimes you're in a situation where you may feel like you need to actually compromise yourself or in any way, something like that, if it's something that has to do with your actual basic needs kind of survival. We understand that. However, again, there is always a way. So I implore you to think outside the box. I implore you to put your integrity, your authenticity first. And I guarantee you, although it can be scary at times, I guarantee you, because I've had to do it myself, I can guarantee you that once you step past that fear and you do it anyway, life gets better. Everything gets better. You become free. It is literally an act of liberation, and you will feel yourself being liberated and becoming free, despite any other circumstances that are going on. When you actually do this, and for those of you who have never had the courage to do this before, you may not fully understand what I mean, but for those of you who have, you know how liberating it is to just step out and allow, step out and just be. And in every moment of every day, being yourself, being stepping into your authenticity and allowing it to shine. There is nothing more liberating as a human being than that. But it requires resilience. It requires courage. It requires strength. So, what I'm imploring you all to do right now is to find that strength, find that inner strength. And remember that the opposite of that is fear, which is what usually drives us, right? Humans are very, very easily controlled with fear. And when that fear is there, you just stop and you just do whatever you need to do because of whatever it is you're afraid of. But when you step past that fear, again, that liberation is undeniable. So you need strength and resilience in order to get to that liberation. Now, building strength and resilience, no one said that was easy. No one said that was easy. But do we shy away from things just because they're not easy? I hope not. I hope not. All you have to do is begin to build that. And I will be putting out some meditations and some shamanic journeys to help you build that resilience and courage to be who you are. We will definitely be putting some of those things out. But also on your own, you need to just start acting, start building that resilience, and start moving past. So the thing is, a lot of times when people are like, oh, I have courage, or I'm trying to get the courage, but it's very, very hard to do so. They're thinking of, oh my God, because the fear, and then you feel the fear, and then you just stop. Who said we're supposed to stop? Why are we stopping? Why are we stopping? We're not going to stop, okay? We're not, just because we have some fear, we're not going to stop. We're going to push past it, because the act of pushing past fear brings you to self-trust, because fear is rooted in a lack of self-trust. Moving past fear brings you to liberation. It brings you to the realization and a different mind shift perspective, that you understand that that fear was just there. That fear was a lie all along, because look, I pushed past it and I got there, and nothing crazy happened. Or maybe a couple crazy things happened, but I got through it. Because life isn't perfect, and we're not going to pretend that it is, right? We have real obstacles in our path sometimes. We have real things happening in our lives sometimes. But do we stop at fear? Do we just allow that fear to take over and just stop right there and just say, nope, I'm afraid, so I'm not doing anything else? Or do we stand up, put our big boy and big girl pants on, and move past it so that we can live the life that we actually want to live? That's what you need to be doing. So here are some tips to start to get you there. Again, I'm going to be putting out some meditations. They will be in the Facebook group, and I'll probably do some on here as well as Divinity Sessions, as I'm guided to do so. So again, if you haven't joined the Facebook group, definitely join the Facebook group, because you're missing out on a whole lot of stuff in there. But here are some tips that you can do at home that will help you begin to build this resilience and begin to actually live authentically and stop betraying yourself for these sacrifices in order to survive. First thing is, like I always tell you guys, meditation. So again, I'll be putting some of those out, but you can also meditate on your own and focus on building up that energy of resilience and courage, and also tapping more deeply into your spirit, to allow it to tell you what it should be doing, what you should be doing, and what it wants to do, in the directions that it wants to go, what it wants to express. You have all the answers inside of you. Remember that. There is no human being out there that has more answers that you need than what's already inside of you. I can guarantee you that. Okay. So everything you need is already inside of you. And so there's that. There's also the self-reflection. It's really important that you are self-reflecting throughout the day, paying attention to, okay, in that situation, did I just sacrifice who I really am for that situation? Did I just fall into chameleon mode there? Is that what just happened? Really paying attention to that. And can you go back and change what just happened? No, but you can correct those things moving forward. Awareness brings opportunity for growth and change. If you are not aware, then you don't know what it is that you need to change, and therefore you don't change, and you end up on this hamster wheel of self-betrayal. Okay, so paying attention in those moments of decisions that you're making, and make sure next time that you're making the right decision. When you have an opportunity to either fall into chameleon mode or be yourself in that moment, it's important that you be yourself. Okay, it's important that you be yourself and shun away fear. Again, we're not stopping just because we feel fear. We're going to move past it, because fear has no control over you unless you allow it. Understand that. Understand that. Nothing, no one, no entity, no energy can have control over you, including your own emotions, including your thoughts and all of those things. Nothing can have control over you unless you allow it. That's how powerful you are. When you recognize that power, then it's easier to step into this. Much easier. And one of the most important things that people really, really don't do that they need to be doing, including you at home, one of the things that people really need to do is start saying no. Learn how to say no. There is power in those two letters, N-O, no. There is so much power and liberation in those two letters, okay? I need you to understand that. I need you to actually start saying no when things are not in alignment with your spirit. When things are not in alignment with you, it's okay to say no. And it's okay if somebody doesn't like it. You're still honoring yourself. At the end of the day, you are the most important person in your world, or at least you should be. I don't care. There's nothing more important, okay? No one more important than you in your life. It is okay to be selfish when it comes to your well being. It is okay to be selfish when it comes to your self expression. Okay, now I'm going to give a caveat to this though on the other side, because I know sometimes I say things and people want to take it all the way over here, all the way over there. No one is saying that you need to express yourself at every second of every day, just for the sake of being bold and adversarial. Okay, no one is saying that. What I'm saying is a calm, confident self-expression when needed. Okay, so for those of you who are like, she said, express herself. I'm gonna let everybody know what I think about them every second of the day. No, that's not that's not what I'm saying. Self-expression is not rudeness. Okay, self-expression is not uh, adversarial. Doesn't have to be, and it's not for the sake of just being adversarial. Okay, that is not the type of self-expression that I'm referring to. I'm referring to healthy self-expression of not denying who you are, not shunning yourself down, not dumbing yourself down, and allowing yourself to shine, and allowing yourself to be who you actually are, and honoring your true essence of who you really are. And I just have to say, for those of you who have that type of personality, where you feel expressing yourself is done in a way that just completely disregards other people's feelings and things like that, that is not the type of self-expression that I'm referring to. We should still be kind. We should still not want to hurt others, right? But when something needs to be said, it needs to be said. But there are always ways to say things without it being just uh, confrontational, just for the sake of being confrontational. That's what I'm referring to. So I hope you guys are catching what I'm putting down in terms of the difference between the two. Okay, because some people self-express, but they are just completely rude and belligerent. And I don't care if you like what I'm saying, I'm going to say it in a very nasty and negative way. That's not the type of self-expression that we're talking about. We're talking about expressing yourself, saying what it is that's on your mind that you need to get out, being who you are, not suppressing who you are, and especially your spiritual beliefs and things like that. Constructive, kind, um, productive ways of expressing yourself, not just to be mean or just to be confrontational. Okay, that's negative energy, and that's not what we're spewing. And if you're ever in a situation and you're not sure if it's a negative self expression or a positive self expression, ask your spirit, really paying attention to your inner guidance, because it'll let you know, yes, this is something that needs to be expressed. Nah, that's just, you're just being petty. Because petty is not good. Okay, people, petty is not good. All right. So, being using all of these tools is really, really important. Okay, using all of these tools, making sure that you are self-aware, making sure that you push past fear, making sure that you're allowing your authenticity to shine in a positive and productive way, making sure you are not suppressing yourself, and having awareness in all of your situations and all of your comings and goings, all of your interactions with other human beings, making sure that you put your authenticity and yourself, the true essence of you, first before the things that you think you need to do for survival. Because I will guarantee you, you will always survive. But we're not here to just survive. We are here to thrive. And here's the problem: when you are focused just on survival, you are not allowing yourself to thrive, because you make those sacrifices to yourself. And those sacrifices, that those parts of you that you're hiding away, those parts of you that you're subduing, that you're suppressing, is exactly what is going to help you thrive. So you're shooting yourself in the foot, so to speak. You need to make sure that you are focused on thriving, spiritual thriving, internal thriving, authenticity thriving, emotionally and psychologically thriving as well. And now, with that all being said, I'm now going to speak love, life, and authenticity into all of you at home using the divine language. Okay. Ema u. Ema urelo, ema urelo, ema urelo vestasti, ema urelo, ema urelo, ema urelo destu shishen, shishen, ema urelo, ema urelo, ema urelo, ema urelo, ema urelo de shishen, 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 eshna popo eshna sha, eshna popo eshna sha, eshna popo eshna sha, desturelo, 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 eshna popo eshna sha, eshna popo eshna sha, ema u, ema u, ema u, ema u, eshna popo eshna sha. And now I will end with a prayer in the divine language, which essentially means peace be unto you. Zor kumti. And I'll see you next time.
I don't need to fit into your box. I won't let society define me, nah. I'm gonna break it, destroy the chains, embrace myself and who I really am. I'm the shit. I'm unapologetically me. Just let me be. I'm standing tall, standing free. No more hiding. I'm who I am. I'm gonna rock to my own beat. Deal with it. Yeah. I used to hide behind a mask, afraid to show my true face. But now I've learned to embrace this face, this vibe. I won't conform to society's expectations, no way. I'll create my own tribe. I'm the shit, oh. Just let me be. I'm standing tall, standing free. No more hiding. I'm who I am. Do my own beat, deal with it. Yeah. I'm unapologetic with me. Just let me be. Oh, I'm standing tall. unapologetically me, just let me be. I'm standing tall, standing free, no more hiding, I am who I